What's up, everybody? I am live here today with Sasha. He is one of the devs for Bizarros that we're going to look into today. Did you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up? Sorry, I was watching the YouTube stream and I heard double. Yeah,
Oh,
so
all
my name is
good.
Sasha, and I am, one of the core devs, founders of Bizarros. Excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're just going to kind of like talk about the project today. And today is officially launch day, correct? Like as far as our mint day, right? So where you can reveal.
So I'll touch on that. So it's supposed to be, but probably have to delay. So our dev who's doing is currently on the generation of the assets and finalizing that. He got sick over the weekend, and then before even, and then he got better on Saturday, and so we thought, okay, we'll do Saturday reveal, and then he got worse. I think as of right this moment, he's in a hospital. So I hope he's okay. We have Luke, who might be able to come in if Dave checked in the code. Luke might be able to download it and finalize, because we're like this close, but we had a few textures that were low res instead of proper res. And then when we update them to higher res, it screws up with the GIF generation for some reason with Unity. And so some of the GIFs then started getting jittery. And right now we're thinking of updating from the GIF to MP4s. Unity has a lot of when you start generating in massive numbers, it's interesting that when you generate it 50, it's fine. And then when you go over that and you go to 100 and hundreds, it starts to show defects and artifacts. It has something with the pipeline when you have 10 different threads running, trying to generate things. Anyway, so we're discovering all that as we are not doing sample generations anymore, but trying to do the whole 10,000. And we're working through it. But yeah, we're basically I am every hour I'm we're looking for an update. And on one hand, obviously Dave's health is number one. On the other hand, it's what do we do and how do we, since we already delayed a few times. But that's the current up-to-date situation that we're in.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I think that's okay right now because you guys really just started focusing on marketing, post reveal and everything, and you already have everything laid out so well that I think everyone that's in the community right now probably trusts you. So I think it's okay.
See. Yeah. I'm glad in a way that we didn't sell out, because if this happened after the sellout and we had to redelay, obviously it would cause a lot more panic, and I think people would just lose money trying to sell fast. I mean, I've stated from the beginning, this is not a speculative project. This is a long-term hold where, I'm here to stay. We're here to stay. It's just whatever the issues are this, I don't care. We'll walk through it. But right now in NFT space, it's, you gotta put out news every day. You gotta put add a thing to your roadmap almost every day for people feel like the project is moving forward. But the reality is project is moving forward anyway. It's just a lot of it is unseen. There's a lot of stuff to be done in the background. So I appreciate everyone's trust. We have a great core community that is seems to be very trustful. I mean, it's actually kind of, I feel almost a little too what's the word? When people say in Sasha we trust, it's kind of nice, but it's also it's weird. I'm just a guy. I'm not a god or something, So I don't know.
You're our cult leader.
A cult leader, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So the was the original plan, because I was, I guess, kind of relatively late to the Bizarro project. Was the original plan just going to be the original just steal avatars, but then you guys decided to make it into a GIF, or how is that?
Yeah, so they were always 3D, but the very original plan was let's just do still PFPs, and then I think then we switched very fast to actually only GIFs, because it's just seeing them in motion is what really brings them to life. They're rather they're not that of a complex of a character. It's not like we're doing some AAA experience game models or something. So it really made it they're just more fun. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, but then Unity is a kind of beast that isn't it has its very specific things about it, and it's not really great at generating GIFs, to be frank with you. And for us to generate the whole collection in high quality GIFs, it's probably 14 to 20 hours, right, on a high end PC. So It takes some time, but we do.
Yeah.
What we can do though, we can do MP4s, and for some reason, for Unity, MP4s are a lot easier and they're actually better quality. The problem with MP4s is, or the only problem really with MP4 is that in OpenSea, when you right-click whenever you have an MP4 in that frame, when you right-click that, it doesn't give you a chance to download it. Unlike a GIF, you can just right-click and download save image.
Okay.
But what we will do if you go MP4 route, we'll provide a link in the description where you'll be able to click to actually get to the MP4, and then through your browser you can download, right, like any other file.
Cool.
And then you can upload to Twitter to share. But yeah, that's why I did a poll in announcements to see what people prefer, right? Like, do you want still? Do you want animated? And the vast majority wants animated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean, they look amazing. Like, it's so cool. It's so cool just to see the movement and stuff.
They're cute. And we also then added 3D model thing because we thought, okay, we're giving it for commercial rights. That's great, but like, how are you going to actually use them, right? So yeah. And then there's that. That, by the way, is another reason why it took a bit longer for us to even launch, because again, 3D model export in Unity is tricky, especially when you want to go to Blender. Blender is one of the most commonly used software for manipulating 3D files, right? In that and doing some animated stuff. But apparently, it has very specific ways. Even though the file standard is the same, it's the FBX for the file. You export into that, like the way it's formatted inside of that there's many different ways to do that apparently, and Blender has real issues supporting whatever unit exports. So right now, what we're doing is with our exports, they will work fine in Maya. Maya is another very common tool for kind of like Blender, but it actually has issues in Blender. So hopefully, a lot of people know both. I find most animators can work with either, or it's easy to learn enough. But also, we think that after you import in Maya, they might have a way to export it to a format, because Maya might have better exporting features and more up to date than what Unity does.
Okay.
But at least, in Maya, you'll be able to manipulate and have fully rigged 3D model, which is also like a new thing, because I know some projects provided 3D models and it's awesome. I think everybody who does 3D models should do that. But usually they provide just a T-pose model that isn't rigged. So then you have to rig it up yourself for animation, and that's like that's a lot of effort. Yeah,
I imagine.
So
cool.
These are all my answers are long answers, by the way. I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is about you. This isn't about
me.
Getting
full download of the behind the scenes decision making process.
I love it. Thank you so much. I mean, immensely more about the project than anybody else, but especially me. So yeah. Do you want to take a look at the sales milestones real quick, or did you want to look at the other roadmap? What would you prefer?
Yeah, we go super fast as an intro. These are not on the website yet, so I need to add them real fast. But we've had them for a while. I just so now let me join 1 second.
Sure.
All right. So yeah, so I just want to bring it out to people in case they don't know. We do have sales milestones, right? So particularly me, I'm the first 2 charities we're donating to, I have selected. But then after sellout, we do also 10%. Well, even before sellout, 10% of all royalties go to charity. But that the royalty ones are selected by the community. It's just the first 2 that we wanted to put on the roadmap that pre-selected. And I thought Save the Children is really cool because I feel like, Bizarros, when they land, they have this period, even right now, right, where they're unformed and before they reveal. And so they're forming their properties. If you look at one of our original teasers, it's like some of their things pop in from time to time. They don't understand what's happening, at first, then like they're fully formed and they don't know, what's happening, but at least they're like, finished. And so the idea is like, hey, can we share some money to give children around the world a chance to properly form, like a better.
That's awesome.
And Save the Children does a lot of education, and they like invest in, not just spending the money on just things, but actually on like helping people go to school and getting these basic things that a lot of us are used to that a lot of children don't get.
Can I pull that up? Like, is there a Save the Children website? Or...
Yeah, I'm sure. Just type Google. They're pretty big. They're a very known charity. I've sponsored a child before through the charity, and it's actually a pretty cool process. So I hope that if you donate to them, what they do is they'll actually assign money to a specific place. And you can choose, actually, when you do your own thing, you can choose where you want to,
That's
focus
really
your money
cool.
on. And then they give you updates, and you can actually communicate directly with the children that you're helping like you can send them notes or little gifts. Like I've sent a little like paper gift once, and they can like reply back, and like they literally like write in their crayons or whatever, like, hey, thank you for helping out. And
Yeah.
it's really cool. So I hope that once, if we get to that point, and we send something that I'll be able to share back with the community, like whatever they sent to us in terms of how the money is spent.
Yeah, that's really great. And I like that you already have a charity picked out. I've been a part, and that's one thing I keep on bragging about this project, is that a lot of the things that you guys talk about, you already have implemented, like charity. Like you're not just saying like abstract, I think I'm going to donate it to some organization. It's like, oh, here's the organization, so that's really cool. And then like, of course, like the gamification aspect, we can get into it later, but like you already have mini games that you can play. So many NFT projects are like, we're going to gamify one day, maybe. But like, there's actually already like a little Bizarro mini game that you can play, which is really cool. So just a shout out to you guys for that.
Yeah, I think that was exactly the thought process, right? Because we thought, okay, if you just release, I mean, listen, with enough marketing, we all know this, right? Enough celebrities, whatever, we can push whatever, and it's all going to sell out. But if you do it organically, then we just wanted some way to stand out a bit. And I'll be frank, like we're maybe making it harder on ourselves than it should be.
Yeah.
And there are days when I'm like thinking back and just, I'm getting all these DMs of like, hey, I have 200, 300,000 followers, pay me a couple ETH and I'll, and it's very tempting.
Yeah, for sure.
But the idea is like, if we can differentiate ourselves, we should start from the beginning. And one of them is like, hey, show that we can deliver something. I mean, it's not like finished games. It's a very alpha rough build, but we're not just literally, selling you just art, in the sense that maybe there could be continuation. I mean, there are projects that do that and then they continue and they're great, or there could be a rug. And anyway,
cool. Well, I mean, I think again, your project speaks for itself as far as why people would want to continuously, buy in and adopt it. So, I don't think you necessarily need the shield right now. I think, a lot of projects say like they're going to do organic growth, but they don't really have a solid roadmap. But it appears that you guys like not only have a solid roadmap, but already like incorporating a lot of it. So as like for somebody like me who just looks for projects all the time like this, it's like you guys just have so much more established than a lot of the other projects that I've looked at. Did you want to talk about I'm sorry, what's that?
I just want to comment. Yeah, I mean, you're right, but we should still obviously push, right, and do our job. I mean, at this point, whoever bought in, like, I also have responsibility with those people to keep promoting the project and make sure that we at least. I mean, organic doesn't mean no promotion; it just means fake promotion. So we'll focus on that. And then the last thing I wanted to add is just part of also the sales map that isn't in the bigger roadmap is the community grants program. So. And that's, again, one of the reasons why we're giving you 3D rig Bizarros. And but there's also, of course, 2D artists. But essentially, 4% of the sales, original sales, almost 4% will go to community grants program. And then I think 10% of all the royalties also go to the community fund. And what that means is, let's say you have an idea about the game that you want to add to, or you want to create a badass trailer using the Bizarro models, right? And you submit your proposals and you say, hey, this is what I can do. This is my experience. Maybe like a tiny teaser or whatever, show off your work. And then I need to spend 2 weeks on this. I need to spend a week. I would like to receive small compensation, right? Because I also don't want people to work for free. And whatever that is, fair compensation. And then we just we'll need to still figure out how we set up the approval process exactly. With time, I would like to, for sure, mostly be led by community. Right? I mean, like the community would have something like 80% of the vote, and maybe the founders have like 20%. So we need to figure out how to sell that up. But that's the point, is like to spawn a lot of projects, everything from storytelling in the game to like 2D, fan art that can, or like illustration art that can go in to actual 3D assets or whatever. It's like literally whatever you want. That's part of it. That's what the community fund is for.
That's really cool. I honestly didn't pay much note to that, so I'm glad you highlighted that for me. It's really cool.
No problem.
And going back real quick to the charity, have you guys selected a pet charity yet? Or I know pets haven't, they actually are in the future, so I guess there's no reason to already have one. But I thought I'd ask while we're here.
Yeah, so I'm particular to dogs. I mean, I like cats too, but I think it'd be probably an adoption center. They'll probably work with both. But if we have to choose, we'll go with dogs. But maybe something like SPCA. I need to find something that's more worldwide. It's not a lot of money though. I mean, 5 ETH is great, but it's it's what $15,000-$20,000 or so. But I think any good charity that we know is out there, has been out there, that's doing great work and helps pets find good home, or save pets that are like on the verge of being euthanized,
Yeah.
or just like does medical free medical services.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think any one of those will work. I would just love to, because we do have pets coming in the roadmap, and but I just love pets. I mean, pets
Yeah,
make life so much
absolutely.
better, dude. Like
They do.
living without a dog or a cat or whatever pet you like the entire life is fine if you have love in other places. But for a lot of people, like finding love in real life, takes years or sometimes never. And like their pet is their thing, and like it really
Yeah.
gives a meaning. And so yeah, I just thought it was logical.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome. Will that be attached? I know this is random because like there is like already, this might be an abstract question. I'm sorry. But
Sure,
you where you said the 5 ETH to pet charities, like when the pets are airdropped, say, is it going to be like in a smart contract? Like, are they going to be able to be traded on platforms like OpenSea or?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Every
would there be any portion
airdrop
of
will be
that?
separate.
Okay. Would there be any portion of that that's also
I'm sure.
dedicated?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure we will. I mean, I think personally, I'm a big fan of just supporting people, helping, making the world a better place.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to be one of the. I mean, it's also a line like we want, as much as we can give. I mean, I think 10% should be minimum, right? So that's what we have. 10% of all royalties, I think, is a good, healthy amount. But then when we do the pet drop, we'll see in terms of how exactly we'll do it. If it's it's going to be fully just airdrop free for everyone, or it's going to be very cheap for existing holders and full min price for others. It really depends on the project, how it goes in terms of how the royalties are rolling in, and what funds do we need to create the game in mind. But definitely there will be a big bonus to people who already have Bizarros, either big bonus or free pets. And we'll have, so I think overall we plan on multiple collections, by the way. So we're building a world. Obviously you can think of pets, you can think of mounts, you can think of weapons as the most logical things you need in a kind of RPG environment. So some of those will be free, and maybe some of those will be not free, or there'll be parts of those that are not free, to help finance the project.
Yeah. Do you want to, while we're talking about that, do you want to go over the what and why?
The who and why? Yes. The what and why? Yeah. So I mean, the what you already know, right? 10,000 avatar collection, animated 3D characters you have right away with full commercial rights, and you mentioned mini games. You can play on our website, the 2 of them. There will be more. So the idea is like every area of the game, maybe not every, but some areas of the game will have specific games that you can play. I mean, everybody's used to that, right? Like when you play an RPG, so you play The Witcher. First of all, it's not going to be like The Witcher. It's way smaller, okay? But like just an example of this specific talking point. There's Gwent. Obviously, is like the top game you play in The Witcher. But as a player producer, they often have a few mini games inside of them that you can play, or like Final Fantasy 14 has the jumping puzzles, and they have the golden saucer with a bunch of mini games. So we want to have like areas. So let's say there is the gutter, and we'll talk more about the areas and the NFT communities and how I want to bring them in. But let's say there's an area called the gutter. What would you imagine yourself playing with the gutter species, right? You would probably marbles, maybe some card games, right? Like it's like gambling, street games that you would play. So that's what you can play. We'll be able to play in that area, and then you'll have to go to another area to do something else.
Cool. That's really cool.
And all of these will have high scores, and so we'll integrate it. And we'll pick a period every 2 weeks or a month that will put those high scores on a blockchain forever. So
that's cool.
You'll be able to not only score high score in the game, but like have actual record of.
That's so cool.
Ever wear a champion,
Yeah.
And if you get knocked out, you'll be like, yeah, but back then in October, if you look it up.
Yeah.
And then
I have such a competitive spirit.
like trophies.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. I'll say I have such a competitive spirit. So like the little like mini games are like a big deal for me. Like I will literally spend hours and hours on like say the runner game, just because I'm like I got to get a great score. It's just like the way it's almost like a relaxing thing for my mind to do a game like that, And I don't know. So that's really cool. That there's
and we'll improve on the runner and the tapper as well, to where they're last alpha stage.
How I not like an exact time frame, but like I guess around about like, will we be able to get like our Bizarro like inside of like Runner? You know how like right now it like obviously like changes avatars because like you know.
That part is relatively easy, so
Okay.
it shouldn't be far off. Originally we thought, once we integrate into the tavern, that's pretty obvious thing, because once you're in there, it's your Bizarro. But yeah, I think we can do that.
Cool.
Probably within weeks. It's just a matter of focus on where you focus right now.
Yeah, no, I know that's a small detail. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Where were we on the
But
water?
for sure, all of those games will be played as just your own Bizarro.
Yeah, which is just like such a cool concept. And like I'm talking to people about it, and I'm again just already having the game. It's like already having that mini game. I think is such a big deal that people overlook, because so many projects try to market like, oh, we're going to have games, but it's like, okay, well, are they in development? Do you have an idea of what games?
And some of them, one of them, like I again, there's some really cool projects out there. I'm a big fan of like Boxies, and excited to see what they do. There's been one project though that I aped into that had great marketing and I liked it. And then when they released their first sort of version of the game, I realized at that point that they probably have good intentions. They're great, great people, but they have no ability to make a game. Games are super hard. I mean, maybe even
I imagine
we also might fail, but games are one of the hardest things you can do as a business or as a company. There are just so many pieces involved, and it's good to. We that's what we thought, and we were like, okay, we need to show something.
Yeah, for sure. Did you want to talk about the team at all? Or, I mean, we don't have to focus on that if you don't want to, but you're saying that it was hard,
sure.
But okay.
No, I mean, the team hopefully will expand quite a bit, and it'll be a very different looking, list within a month or so. But you already know me. Luke is currently working at one of the EA studios. I think he's working on a mobile Star Wars game.
Sweet. That's awesome.
He just got his game designer degree like 5 months ago, but he's doing, he's been doing his own sort of hobby designing for a long time. He's also pretty decent with some music instruments. He's also a great storyteller. He just dropped his own comic, actually.
What?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
I'll post it in Discord too, because I actually forgot the name, but like there's only, I think, 666 issues or something. But it's available in print, and I'm sure probably online.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's, like I said, he's a storyteller. He does a lot of things. He's one of those guys who just likes to pick up a bunch of stuff, and he is good with most of them. Before that, he was actually pretty high up there at EA on esports side. And before that, we worked together at my esports team company, ours, and a few people who founded it, GameStars, and he was chief operation officer there. Dave is just good Unity developer. I think he really just enjoys different little Unity challenges. He's really helped us with the generation side, and he's the one who's currently possibly in the hospital. I think that's the last I heard. He was going to today, but I he hasn't texted me in like 20 hours, so I'm just hoping he's okay.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, and then Nacy is worked with him again on esports side a couple of years back. He's just he's still young, but he's like all around. He loves he does a little bit of design. A lot of the marketing materials you see posted comes from him and Lana. Lana is on a design side as well, but he's also like a web app dev. He's helped out with the website, and he's a mod, so he's got a few responsibilities.
Sweet.
And then Lovin is a sound engineer. So there are 2 tracks posted in a sneak peek channel in Discord for the background music for the tavern.
Cool.
Done both by him, and hopefully more coming. He also has his own singles that are kind of pretty dope, because he sings, he writes songs, and he makes music.
Man, that's a solid team right there. Like that your backgrounds are obviously in gaming, so like, was that like when coming up with this whole idea, it was like meant to be a game from early development, or?
I mean, the characters were pretty, we're not sure what game specifically it was until recently.
Okay.
When I thought about, the whole NFT community type, like because I love the NFT community. It's been such a wild ride, and it's so positive. It's so amazing to be in it every day. I'm like, well, why not just make a game about that?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, also other things, but like, why not that? Why should I go to the normal medieval fantasy, whatever, sci-fi stuff? I mean, those are all great things, but like, let's just incorporate some memes and humor and what we all know and love, which is the NFTs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. So the sound engineer, he's making background sounds like for when we're like hanging out in the tavern. You're saying like, okay, the tavern is the first
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this image, you know, it's pretty dark. There's no no lighting yet really put in. There's very few things put in. This is just a skeleton when that picture was taken. But yeah, this is a big place. We hope to fit, you know, at least 100 people in there. And obviously, if we have a lot more, you know, there's be server sharding, so you'll be split into instances. But a tavern is like, it's both a hangout place. There'll be a few interesting activities to do. But most it's like, you know, dancing, emoting, chatting in chat, voice chat maybe later, but right now it's going to be text chat, and then we can be on Discord. There'll be a couple interesting rooms that we want to sort of built in. On the walls, I want to do like Hall of Fame for the NFT community, right? And put on some pictures of memes and events that happened, like maybe the Farouks and these, you know, fight, maybe something Pranksy did. I don't know, maybe put a couple NFT rocks. Just like milestones, and we'll update them from time to time.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And the tavern again is the first part of the roadmap, correct? Like this is like out of the roadmap, this is what we expect to see first.
It's the very first part, yeah.
Yep.
And then it's also a place where we can chat and discuss the future things while they're being built.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How is there like I think I read it somewhere, but like is there like a Q1, Q2 timeframe on the tavern, or like?
The tavern should be within a month of selling out.
Okay,
maybe
well, that's
sooner.
super
We don't really need to sell out. It just helps to jumpstart and hire enough people and really push this thing to the right speed. The tavern is the basic version of the tavern is done. It's not polished enough. It's not ready to go to where we can release it on, and like with the thing about projects like the last 20% is really the 80% is the rule, right? So you can make the first 80% rather easily, but then to polish it all and connect things and make things work, and check for bugs and all that, it takes forever. So
absolutely.
So that's where the timeline comes from.
I mean, I think that timeline's great. You're not talking about like, you know, 2022 or like, you know, you're not talking about like mid 2022 or anything. You're talking about like a month, you know, so that's pretty cool.
But it is okay to set expectations. This is rather, I mean, it's one building, right? So it's rather simple.
It's still something. But, yeah, you'd be surprised how many NFT projects I'm in where it's something like that promise, but we're talking a much larger time frame. So to me, somebody who's been jumping around on projects for a while, like that's great news. I've been having some people in the comment section. There is one that I feel like is important that I'm going to put up here real quick though. Basically, somebody just asked on catching up on the release, mint, sellout, or still open. So you are still available to mint a Bizarro currently, correct?
Yeah, and hi Garrick, 1984. I see it. Yeah, for sure, it's still open. There might be a couple cheaper. Actually, the floor price has held pretty well over the last 5 days. I'm very surprised and humbled for people being diamond handing. There are a few below floor. If they're still available, you might just want to grab that on the secondary, or you can just mint to like, you know, in a solidarity support of the team. But there's actually very few. So when I went 3 days after the mint, even though we have very slow mint right now, and you know, we're waiting on the reveal, like 2 days after the mint, the floor price was like 0.1. It was above, you know, mint price. And then 3 days in, there was like one or two that dropped like 0.07. And I think we have a few now. We have two at 0.05 or so right now. And then the rest of 0.07 and up. So yeah, very impressed, honestly. I see floor just like cracking and dying so fast on if the mint doesn't sell out right away. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know how to say it. I'm just grateful. And I just hope the rest of the community that we build is like the same caliber in terms of patience.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think
patience.
As an outsider, like looking in, I think you're almost like, again, just everything you said about the team is like so impressive. Like you guys like art, like you have a game developer on your team, like you have music specialists, like you have backgrounds in esports. Like that's a big deal going into a project. You're not just coming off the street wanting to make a quick buck, making all these fake promises. Like, I don't know, like as somebody who's investing in the company,
I think for
what's
a
that?
lot of us, it's been a dream for a long time, right? So
Yeah.
for me, I think all of us on that team is gamers, like really gamers from a very young age. Gamers in the sense that, like, we started going on the street, hanging out with the cool kids. We were the nerds in the homes, and maybe now we're like a little cooler, but society has changed in that way. But for me, it's been, ever since I play like the original Warcraft, like 1 basically, and Doom and Quake and a bunch of those games. Like, I've always thought, wow, what would it be like to make this? I remember when I was like 13 or 14, I started playing with Maya Studio, and I didn't quite figure it out. And so actually it was 3D Studio Max. I think I'm not even sure if they're around anymore. But there was a Maya at the time, and there was 3D Studio Max. And I think 3D Studio Max was winning or something, or maybe it was just what we had. But yeah, it's been a long dream coming. And if this dream is like, if the community gives us this opportunity, it's fucking, I can just tell you, I don't know if we'll succeed, but we'll sure as hell try.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be by your side. I've already minted one. I made a list of NFTs that are incorporating games, like a big list a couple of weeks ago. And because like I'm a gamer too, I've been a gamer since I was a kid. Before I made a YouTube, I was a Facebook partner with gaming. And that's all I did was like game on there. And so like I like to live stream games. Well, of course I want to incorporate NFT and based games because like that's what I mainly do now is crypto and NFT. Anyways, Bizarro got brought up by Popsvizly. I always say his name wrong, but he brought you guys to my attention, and I was able to go look at the roadmap, and then I was able to play the mini game and stuff like that. And I was like, this is really cool. Like I can already play the mini game. And like, there's so much vision in here. And I don't know, that's what made me buy in. Like I didn't buy in with the intention of like quick flip, of like trying to buy it and then list it for 0.1. Like honestly, somebody could offer me 1 ETH right now and I wouldn't sell my Bizarro just because like I'm actually here to like play the game. Like I'm really excited to be a part of it. So, I mean, I think the reason that there's a strong community is like we all kind of have like a mutual vision for it. And obviously with the credibility you just gave for yourself and for the team, like I think it can do well.
Well, listen, if somebody offers you 1 ETH, definitely take it and then go mint.
And then you go mint
and
some.
Then it'll keep point too.
Yeah, I thought about that after I said, I was like, yeah, I thought about that after I said, I was like, well, actually, I could buy a couple of Bizarros because I could still mint. But let's say minting was closed off and somebody offered me 1 ETH like next week. Yeah, you got what I mean.
Yeah, like dude, I think there's a new era coming for games where you own. There's a new era coming for a lot of things, but the general trend line is like you own your data, right? You own your things, and so. I'm just really excited for this era in gaming where I get to own my characters. It's really, really, how to say, like, I think we just forgot over the last few decades. We literally forgot what it's like to own our stuff, right? Yep. Everything from photos to things we send, like as long as we upload to the website, they take control and then they license it back to us. And that's in every small text, if you read the small text. And it's just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing that we go out there and license everything and we end up owning nothing.
Yeah,
and all we buy is access to things that is, temporary. And then what happens if they ban you or you just get tired of that project, and then you're like realize, oh, I spent years and years of money and I can't even get anything out of it to like resell or repurpose. My progress is lost. All this stuff. And there is some value. I mean, there's we do this all. I'm not saying you go and buy coffee. Well, at least coffee is something you consume, but there's definitely a place for services where you just pay and that you're delivered entertainment value. But I think like there is a sort of like a seesaw of balance, and that balance has been way off in not in the consumer favor. Because frankly, like the money we're paying for a lot of this stuff is way more than what it costs, which is why these companies are becoming huge and making so much money for their shareholders. I don't know. It's just there's a balance somewhere. I don't think there people who are like maximalists on one side are, I think, a little missing the point, because economy has to keep going around, right? There has to be circulation, all of that. Yeah. But as just on a basic principle, I mean, imagine life where you don't own anything. I mean, and there are people who want that too, like pure socialism. But like, can own a car, can own your house, can own live nothing, right? Like it's not what we used to. It's not what most people want, and so why do we accept that in the digital realm?
Yeah, absolutely.
So excited for NFTs is like general change in many industries.
Especially owning something unique to you, you know, like I think of games where you buy skins, you know, just regular games. We'll take like Call of Duty, for example. You could buy you could buy a Rambo skin, you know, a couple months ago. Well, so could anyone else that had the money to buy a Rambo skin, you know? So like you have a bunch of Rambos running around and you can tell that they paid money for it. But at the end of the day, they all look the same.
They're not even theirs.
Yeah, and they're not even theirs.
It's like once you leave, you're like, all you can say is like point maybe to a memory.
That's my biggest attraction about like NFT gaming, I feel like, is because like the uniqueness of it. You know, you run into somebody in the tavern, you're eventually gonna, like, if you run into them often, you're eventually gonna equate like them as that unique person, you know. Like it's not like everyone looks the same.
Once you find your forever Bizarro, right? Kind of like you find your forever ape or whatever. They are because of the. Sorry, I'm just moving through the sun. The uniqueness is, and so let me talk about a little bit about uniqueness. There are a lot of Bizarros. Okay,
is there anything you want me to pop up while you're talking about it, or
you can you can go to the promo files and just look at the avatars.
Add that in our messages.
Yeah, no worries.
Here, I'll put this up for a second. You can continue talking. I'm pulling.
But yeah, we had a bit of a challenge in terms of because there were colors as well, and it's a good challenge. So we actually don't have code to make sure that each Bizarro is unique, because I think the chances of getting the same exact generation is essentially zero, right? Like it's such a low chance that if it ever happens, we'll just, if that person wants to regen and re-roll the dice, we'll just let them re-roll the dice.
Okay.
We'll do like a period when before the metadata is frozen, where people can request. But it's even if you get the same traits somehow in terms of the hair and the hat and the beard, whatever, and the facial expression and the outfit and the back item, right, and the extra item, all the same. First of all, a lot of these, then the colors come in, and most of these have like 5 to 10 different colors. So it's just about impossible, I think, and I love that. I mean, so the uniqueness aspect is definitely there.
Absolutely.
It also presents a lot of interesting rarity opportunities where you can match your hair, your back item, if you have one, maybe like even like bunny ears, for example, if you get those, or the beard, if you get that, all to the same type of color, for example, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So if that actually happens, then I'm telling you that is an extreme, that's some extreme luck right there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because like even the wings, from those wings, like you saw, there's red and green, they're split in half.
Yeah.
And like, so that's not going to match necessarily. But imagine like your outfit happens to be green, or like we have a sort of a body type that's Gorgon, and it's basically green skin type body. So you can match that. But then, and if your hair matched to be red for the upper wing color, right?
Yeah.
Those are like, would be aesthetically super cool combos.
Yeah. Is that you might have said that, but is that all randomly generated upon mint?
No. So what the mint, you mint basically you get assigned an ID, token ID, but the generation happens all in one batch. So we generate the entire 10,000 and upload all those images and metadata, and then once you get an ID, like you claim that. That metadata. That's how most projects do it. Like nobody does it actually on the fly, because generation code and Ethereum chain are unrelated, unless the code itself is in. There's a few on-chain art pieces. Those may be, but most projects, they don't generate at time of mint.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I like this one. It's like the trail coming out the.
Yeah, so those wings are animated. Yeah, everything's animated. Okay. But those wings are like literally, they're like flames behind you, and these are it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Will the different traits affect?
I almost said what rarity they are, but I kept myself.
I'm sorry. If you did that, I would delete the portion of the video. But yeah I would have felt really bad if you'd accidentally said something. will the like wings or
Yeah,
non-wings
look
or
at the
anything?
naked.
I
Not
know, I
naked, but
love
like
that one.
this one is so cool. I hope somebody gets. I hope he appears again. I mean, this is so everything you
I
see is
love
like
it.
it's been generated. So now we don't know if it'll ever see it. Like it's not stored. It's
Yeah,
just test generation. But I personally would love to have that guy. I mean,
right.
he's such a unique character in the game.
I really I like that a lot. I think it's funny. So
Um,
will they like say wings or not wings or any of these like affect the attributes that like play a role in the game, or will all characters like I don't know where I'm going like will
yeah,
like
well, think. I don't think there'll be any. I don't think it'll be really uh, relevant as far as playability or giving you advantage. There might be a few cool things we can do with like special emotes. So if you have a back item that's wings, maybe you have like a fly up and flutter emote or
yeah.
something,
That's what I was
right?
thinking.
If you give advantages, it's going to be um, first of all, it's going to be hard. Like, who do you give advantage to? Just the wings, right? Versus,
Yeah,
are is there specific helmets, or and then yeah, the balancing of it, and then people who, because it's random mid, like people feel like missing out. I want to make sure everybody feels like they have a special Bizarro, and it's
absolutely.
just a matter of like, do you like the looks or not? Do you like the facial expression? So if not, okay, trade it for something else. But the uniqueness, they're all like, it's like cool cats. They're all cool, but some are cooler. Is
Yeah,
what they say. So all
absolutely.
bizarres are bizarre, but some are more bizarre than others.
I'm so excited. This one reminds me of the Spider-Man villain that has the
Yes,
uh
the Octo.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's Octo something.
Yeah. I didn't remember the
Um,
name, but I'm glad you knew what I was referring to.
exactly. I know because it has the doc uniform and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
perfect. And the glasses. Yeah, it's totally perfect.
That's awesome. I love it. Is
Yeah,
there
and so
anything?
like the hydras on the head, like those obviously move as well around. Uh,
I have the anim. You want me to? I think
uh,
isn't there
there
some
might be
anim?
one. Yeah,
Yeah, there's an animated section. Let's see. Yeah, this right here. I think.
it's a little hard to see because he's jumping, but you can see.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
see
hard to
it.
see
I
the
see.
snakes moving
I see him
when
now. I see
he's
him.
doing the emote.
That's really cool.
Um,
I love these. I showed this to my friend who's not like even into NFTs, and I was trying to explain to him
yeah.
like what he's into games. Try to explain to him like what gamifying NFTs looks like, and he actually thought these were like super cool. And like I said, he
Yeah.
doesn't even know he doesn't know much about NFTs at
See,
all.
those wings and the ones you saw, the green ones, they're the exact same type of wing, just
Okay, yeah,
different color, and there's the animation. Yeah.
that's really cool.
This one, the black particles, actually, that was an artifact. That's not supposed to happen. They're supposed to be like flamey color artifacts, but that's
Okay,
part of the GIF generation issue.
okay, sweet. That makes sense. Cool. I'm assuming. Let's see this real quick.
This one is just, I think
The
she's pretty
wings.
cool.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
wings moving.
but I like that body type, like this dark red eye.
Yeah, yeah, I like that as well.
It's a little, yeah,
It's like,
demony.
yeah.
Um,
Reminds me of Umbreon, the Pokemon. I don't know if you were ever a Pokemon fan, but it looks like one of Eevee's evolutions if it was in the
mhm.
form of a Bizarro. That's really cool. Is there anything else on the project that you want to talk about? Or I know we went over a
um,
lot.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, just touch on the roadmap, the rest of it. So after the
Sure.
tavern, well, first the game. Like, what is the game? So the game, and I would love to hear feedback and see what people think. Like, the idea of the game, it's an RPG. It's full-on role-playing game. So you started in tavern eventually, and I mean, the story is you land on this planet. Nobody knows why you're there. We don't know. We just know we landed. So the Bizarros, what they're trying to do is figure out where they come from, try to like remember their past, but also find out if there's like some evil force behind this, or if it's just like a natural event, or they have some kind of purpose they have to fulfill in order to get out of this planet, or should they just build a home here? And like, they have no idea, right? All they remember is falling from the sky is where it starts. So
Yeah.
they go on this journey to figure this out. And the planet that they fall on is inhabited by these weird creatures that can't shut up about NFTs. Okay. And these weird creatures are basically like these different NFT collections that you see. So we'll bored apes, we'll see gang, we'll see cool cats, we'll see other things, right? So like, imagine like you come out of the city and there's like a big ladder or a space elevator or whatever fits the environment, right? And you go up there and you go up to the little castle in the sky and you meet cool cats. And then you're like, yo, why do you guys, as you go through the story, there's like, we find out a little bit more about these collections, which is things we're completely going to make up. But like with like cool cats, what I made up is like, they're blue because they live so close to the sky. Okay, so the collar
Yeah.
like rubs off on them.
Yeah.
And maybe like they can't come down because they're afraid to lose their color or something. Maybe you'll meet like a cool cat down somewhere in the city who's like not blue, and then you have to help them get back their natural color.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
as you help them on their quest, they'll but they may be banished from the city because something they did, and maybe it's a misunderstanding, whatever. So as you help them on their quest, then they maybe can help you advance on your own main storyline. Same thing, like you go to the apes, for example, you go to the jungle by the harbor, and maybe like you need to help cheetahs and DMT apes resolve their beef before like the king ape helps you out and trusts you enough to like give you whatever you need to like advance on your quest, right? So in a way, it's a typical RPG layout in that sense. Like you do the quest to help a group, and then the group helps you. We'll maybe have some surprises, but the cool part that I'm really excited about is that it's all NFT communities. And even if like we talk to them and they don't give us full on right to use their name, we can always do parody, right? Because that's within the constraints of free speech, etc. And but we'll try to license apes and things from other people. Like, I mean, I have an ape, but like we'll license the characters from actual owners to try to put similar looking characters in the game. And then hopefully with the games moving along, like we'll have enough presence to where some of the common personalities in NFT communities, such as Farouk or Deez or I don't know, Andrew Wang or et cetera, like Klon, who made Cool Cat, et cetera, maybe they want to actually be in the game, right? And maybe I can learn something about their life and say like, hey, what quest would you like to have? Like, what part of your story would you like to be reflected, like, or part of like rivalry you have or something funny, right? And we'll incorporate that in. But it's all sad. Like it's this balance where we're pulling from the current communities, but we're also wrapping it into this fantasy of a game, right? It's not like we're doing photorealistic content. We just want the stories to feel familiar, and then also that gives us an opening to bring in memes and humor. That I think we should have a lot more humor and memes than most games do, because of the nature of this. And I'm personally very excited about this. I'm excited for us to not shy away from that and just take it full on. And it's a story game. And then of course throughout the whole thing, like the component that I really want us to focus on is the social hanging out. So which is why it's kind of like a metaverse. If you play Final Fantasy 14 especially, like you'll notice a lot of people log into the game just to hang out. They don't necessarily do dungeons or questing anymore or fighting, but there's so many things there because you can role play. There are so many outfits. There's a whole fashion, area of the game. You can build your own house, or you can put furniture in it. So in Bizarro City, eventually we'll also have, you can buy a lot or a plot. You can build your own dwelling, hang out with people. I mean, I think the social component of this is where it's actually exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But having like this storyline as well that you can just do with your friends. I don't know. I hope that's the package that is appealing, but that's what we want to build. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
I actually didn't know until this interview. I guess I just did a bad job at reading that you were incorporating the other NFT projects into the game itself, and I think that's really cool. I don't know. I know you said earlier that your image was to create a game of NFTs, but I guess that just clicked for me on what that means, and I think that's really cool.
The game, it's literally. Well, it's a game about Bizarros, but they literally land in the world of NFT communities. We all know NFT community is such a freaking strange place. So, I mean, again, there's going to be a line because it's a fantasy world, but I don't know, why not? What else? I mean, it could be about elves and gnomes and ghouls and whatever, but like it's already been done 1,000 times. And people have done an amazing job with it. And
and I think it's awesome. I love the idea. And so I know you said everything within like parody fits the means of being able to put it in there. Did you also say that you are actually, like, if somebody was like, sure, you can incorporate Bored Apes, like if you got permission from them, do you have like less barriers to deal with that, or?
Well, so mainly I can use the official name, right? So we can do, so let's say in the city, well, we can make anybody can just say have the gutter, right? Because the gutter is not a copyrighted or like name, whatever, and they can do any parody. I mean, But it'd be cool if Got a Cat Gang said, yeah, for sure, like we like the idea. The way you're approaching the storyline doesn't, it doesn't take away from the project. It only adds to it. You're being respectful of all the things we're about. Sure. So then instead of calling it the Gato, I can call it the Gato Cat Gang. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And have sense. Like the official blessing. But other than the name, there's really not much. There's not much. I mean, because I'm not saying like if somebody comes to us, like, I don't think there's a community that will come to us and be like, yo, do not put us in the game.
Yeah.
Because that's also really lame, right? Like, well, why not? Have you even heard the idea? Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to, like, none of those communities is going to be badly portrayed. They're just part of the thing. But yeah, having a blessing would be,
I think it's genius, like, because if the project, and obviously our mutual hope was that it does take off in the future, I mean, people are going to be like wanting to be in the game because that's just exposure to them, that like they're inside of another NFT game. So like, yeah, like you said, so many things have been done before.
That makes sense for that community. So like with the Gutter Cat Gang, or the Gutter, whichever. Like, let's say in a tavern, even, if they, I would love to have like a cheetah cat and a tiger cat fighting, because like that's the rivalry inside the community. And so, we're in a tavern, people get drunk and they fight. So like, why should I make up two characters that nobody knows about, that are just fantasy characters fighting somewhere in a corner, when I can put those two specifically, right? And if you go to the jungle, we see the apes. Obviously, there may be like a quest line that you're doing for DMT ape. And then somewhere on the way, you like meet a cheetah ape, and they're like, yo, I know you're talking to this guy, but listen, let me tell you, whatever it tells you is like a lie, and here's what you should do instead. And then maybe you have a choice, right? Like, do you like go betray the DMT ape because you believe the cheetah ape, or do you roll with the cheetah ape and or like with the DMT ape and like try to ignore cheetah ape, or maybe it's the third choice where you try to satisfy both, or like actually like get around both, right? And let them figure out their things on their own. So
I love that. I think that's awesome.
Brandon, it's 0.08 to mint.
Oh, sorry.
The minting is live on the site.
I didn't know you're actually in the chat. I haven't been really popping all these up, but I didn't want to distract either of us. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But like, I don't know. I was just like listening to everything you're saying, so I didn't want to like distract us. And you can it's still currently can mint. You can go to the Discord and find the official links from there.
It's early stage, guys. So I mean, please only mint with longer term hold in mind. If you're doing nothing wrong with speculative buys, I do them too. But this is not. I don't think this is going to be 10 ETH in a month, unless I don't know, people just really want this thing built and they have huge expectations. But
well, I
appreciate you saying that. Go up in price after we deliver value and utility.
I respect it. I have everyone that I've talked to about it so far, I've been making it clear, like, I'm buying into this because I like it. A year from now, if the game takes off, it could be worth a lot, but I'm not buying into this to flip it next week. So I'll touch
on the timeline real quick. We definitely hope for it to be less than a year, so because I think we can do it in pieces. I do think the game overall, by the time it's fully finished, will take probably 2 years, right? And maybe it'll never be finished. It's one of those you can always add to, of course, with expansions, etc. But just like with the tavern, like that's this tiniest small piece first, and then that gives us time to hire the right core team. I mean, there's a lot of technical underpinnings we need to get done, like really finalize engine, how things work, etc. But then with the Bizarro City, we can do 1 or 2 areas released at first, and so you do part of your quest, right? It's kind of like Netflix show, whatever. Like you have your episodes. And then we add more areas, and then you'll continue. I think that would be more fitting for this industry than waiting a couple of years and then releasing the whole thing.
I like that. Now nothing hard time zone again, but you said tavern, like maybe expect to see it in a month. What about the rest? Like, do you have like early 2022?
Right now it is going to be busy the next few weeks, next month. But actually, one other thing I haven't yet announced to anyone is that I'm switching to this full time, because I do have a job currently as a venture partner at a crypto accelerator on a pretty big emerging blockchain that basically makes Bitcoin smart with smart contracts and NFTs as well. But
do you mind saying what it is, or you're not allowed to?
No, it's on my profile. It's Stacks is the name of the blockchain.
Oh, okay, got you.
And we I was part of I helped I helped with the first cohort of the accelerator. So we just like selecting, mentoring, etc. companies. So we just basically graduated 25 different companies on a accelerator. It's doing great, but that's my IRL job right now. And I talked to my boss this morning. I was like, listen, I love Bizarros. Like I want to focus full time. And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure, I think it's happening. And
cool.
But
well, that's exciting.
anyway,
As
the next
a
few
holder.
months we're pretty busy with hiring, etc. But we're hoping that by end of the year, maybe very early next year, we'll have the first piece of Bizarro City
Sweet.
finished. Assuming we sell at least half the mint by the end of October.
Yeah. I think you will. So I'm excited.
You almost look at other financing options. There's like cool crowd financing websites and services where people can just like sort of bring in. I don't mind people jumping in on financing any way they want. I just don't. I want to make sure like we have full creative control and are not forced by publisher or investor to add features to the game that are all about money and not so much about gameplay. Because World of Warcraft was one of my favorite games, and this is kind of like the feeling I want to recreate a little bit. You know, when you first log in, is this feeling of excitement and exploration. But what killed me with World of Warcraft is like all the dailies and the grind that they added just to like increase engagement, and then to be able to show in their quarterly report they're like 30%, daily users or whatever. And it's like, why does any of that matter? I mean, I understand why, in that situation, but like it shouldn't, is what I'm saying.
I get that completely. You want people to play the game because they like the game.
Yeah, just make something cool, dude, and then make another game if that game is done. Like a project should have a finish line. Like it's just people keep trying to milk these projects on and on and on, and if there's not like organic way to just add to it that and everybody's trying to make every project to have billions and billions of dollars, like in the corporate gaming world. It's like, no, just make a new game, dude. Like, I don't know.
I love it, man.
People just leave, and that's what's happening with WoW now. Now they're struggling because Final Fantasy didn't do that route. They did the right route, and now people are just, what? I mean, they love Warcraft, but like they have no choice. Because why would you grind 5-8 hours a day just to stay in your level? You know what I mean? That's if you're gonna grind for something, it should be for something new. It's not to keep it should be to get ahead and like achieve something you're actually proud of, not just to stick, just to stay in the race.
Absolutely. I completely agree. This is like one of the first games I found that like my gaming friends, I feel like will actually be able to participate in and enjoy, if that makes sense, like in the NFT space. So I'm really excited about it. Did you want to talk about you mentioned a little bit about the community events. Did you want to expand on that or?
Yeah, quickly. Yeah, I know we've been going on for a while.
I'm sorry. I mean, we can wrap up whenever.
I'll just point out the community event graphic is actually a fan art by Timix. Timixable. She has her own collection. I think it's her and her brother. Why? They're super cool. But anyway, so I wanted to put that in because I love fan art, and it's been really cool that some people made a few pieces for us. But yeah, part of the being in a tavern, I'm looking for ways to bring in community on this. We already have a theory crafting channel that people submit idea in. I want people to basically be able to submit an idea. There's more planned there, but like submit an idea and it actually appears in the world. And if it does so, we'll be sure to fully credit you. One of the things I do want to do is kind of like the bathroom for the apes, but make it like a storybook for Bizarros, where you can submit let's say a paragraph for the backstory, which we left empty on purpose so that people can fill it in together. So you submit like a paragraph or two, and people upvote or downvote it, and then once enough time passes and you win the upvotes, like it just permanently written in, right?
Okay.
And then
That's really cool.
Write the next few chapters or paragraphs, and then maybe somebody adds an illustration, and then eventually you get a storybook of Bizarro World and like the backstory. And let's say we ever commercialize it and sell it, like now because this is all these contributions recorded on the blockchain, we'll know whom to pay royalties to if you ever do sell it. That's the kind of enterprise I would like us to be, where people actually contribute to the game, people actually contribute to things, and then we have a way to record that, and at the very least give them full credit. So when they explore the game and they see a certain monument, or they see a certain area of the game, or a certain quest giver, or an NPC, or an interaction or remote, whatever it is, they're like, oh, I did that, right? And
that's so cool.
Click on that and like actually find out that this user, like this wallet ID, that's who contributed to this, right? And it really feels like it's a community game because we're here because of the community, and yeah, I want people to really feel like it's their game, not just something they buy and that is, somebody builds externally away from them.
I think that's absolutely awesome. Like you said, that idea of I contributed this, like going seeing
It's
that,
your
like,
hill.
yeah, I
Your
think
little
that's
mountain on the horizon.
I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, we had somebody who suggested like the moon as an area. So if you ever do like the Alien Boy community hangout, makes sense. They're on the dark side of the moon, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. If so, stuff like that, like let's be amazing. Thank you for contributing that.
That's really cool. I did want to ask one more thing. I guess we can wrap up with this. The animals, are they gonna like follow you around, or do they have like the pets? Are they gonna follow you around, or do you gonna be able to control them? Or are they like, how are they gonna be incorporated in this game?
I don't currently. I mean, everything's up for a change, right? This is all pre-final answers or anything, but I'm not sure controlling them is what it really. It's kind of complex. I'm not sure what it adds.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure it is.
But for sure, at least follow you around. I mean, I want it to be, the idea is to be companions, so you're less lonely, right? Because you fall into this world without memory, and like, of course, you feel a little lonely and like you're in a strange land. So the idea is like you eventually find a companion that like helps you feel more at home. And
absolutely.
So the number one job of the companion is just to be like, just like every dog you meet, right? All they want is love you and play with you, and they're just like super excited to be alive. And I think that's going to be the idea behind the pets. I mean, maybe, and then we'll have separately, I think, mounts, and mounts might have more interactions, but yeah, that's
sweet. Well,
that's the long short version. I don't know.
Absolutely. No, I love it. I love it. I learned a lot this interview. Honestly, like obviously I've like been looking into the project, but like you taught me a lot of new stuff during this interview. So I really appreciate your time coming on here. I hope it also teaches some people who are just getting into it or just didn't know a lot of things that you said more about the project. Minting is still going on. So, I mean, you can go to the Bizarro website and go to the Discord. I linked it. Or I guess there's like a few below retail right now that you could snag if you don't want to mint your own right now.
Go for it. Listen, whatever. There's really not many below mint price, but there are a few.
Yeah,
I think there's like 10 below, but like some of those are like 0.005 difference, so it's negligible. But I've seen this morning I saw one at 0.05 and one at 0.055, and then it jumped to 0.07. So if nobody has snagged those two yet.
Absolutely. Well,
I'm
super excited
myself the other day because I saw them lower, and I was like, dude,
I love it.
I want to have at least like I only had 2 Bizarros myself until I bought like 4 off the secondary. And
nice.
Yeah, like the dev team only gets 1. The dev and mods all get 1 free.
Yeah.
And sure, I think my free is gonna. We also allow mods to. It's another like small thing we want to do differently. We actually pay our mods. Most Discord mods are unpaid. They had 5 pre-sale opportunity, to buy as opposed to like 3 with everyone else, and they get a free one. And we let them choose 1 feature before they know rarity. So they get to choose 1 feature how it looks, but we don't tell them what rarities are. It's just based on aesthetics. And sure, some of them may get lucky and get choose the rarest feature.
Yeah.
And then for the devs, I think we'll do a bit more customized, just so people know in the game that's us. But it's mostly aesthetics. Also not rarity.
That's really cool. Encouraging that you guys give that benefit to your Discord mods, because like I feel like Discord mods is kind of like the unpaid intern of these NFT projects. They do a lot of work, and other than like I guess community recognition, there's really nothing for it.
Which is weird because if there is money in any space right now, it's here. Like if your collection sells out and you don't pay your mods, then you're just robbing them. I'm sorry. Like you're just literally it's like child labor almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
What the hell? You just like sold $3 million or whatever, $2 million worth of stuff, and you're not even gonna pay them anything. It's it's ridiculous.
It really is kind of mind blowing. I've recently been a part of projects that did that, and yeah, so that's super cool. I did not know that. So heck yeah. I support the charity. I support you, Sasha. You seem really cool. What you told me about the team was really awesome. Like knowing that like your business partner has a degree in game design and that you both have background in esports. Like that's a big deal considering you're making a gaming NFT project. So like that's so much like already credibility going into it. So I am stoked. I am super stoked. I'll probably be making a separate video later. I'm always weary of videos because like I only make videos on projects I actually think are going to do well. But like I genuinely just like this project, you know, like so like it makes me more excited.
Number one rule, I'm not to blow our horn, but like number one rule in NFT is mint what you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, sometimes there's good alpha, but people get caught on like trying to catch the wave, right? And they get jump on projects because somebody said something. But if you look at top people that we all listen to, sort of NFT space, people have been here earlier who've made, you know, they're doing well, but they're also like sort of you look up to them because they have these great collections in their wallets. The number one advice they give you is like always buy what you like first and foremost, and then you know, part of your budget maybe do some speculative plays. But generally, if you like it, that there's a good chance somebody else likes it, right? And if you don't, if you hate it, like if you don't like it, like why are you betting on the fact that other people will like it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice. I was actually debating over a rising project right now. Not that I'm really interested in, but that like could, you know, make money or whatever. And it's like at the end of the day, I just don't like it. So it's like, yeah, it could boom in a few days, but like if I don't like it, it's really hard for me just to be like, let me take this risk.
To choose those projects, you know, there's so much opportunity that you can choose only the ones you like and still have plenty of ways to be present and play in the market.
Yeah, that's great advice. I appreciate it, Sasha.
Anytime.
Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. We had quite a few. I don't see the analytics until after I post, but like we had quite a few people come in and chill. There's 11 people in here right now, so thank you guys for tuning in and
appreciate your time.
Listening to Sasha spread words of wisdom and talk about his project. We are super excited. Yeah, you can still mint. And last thing is there's one of the devs is sick right now, so we're kind of waiting on to figure out more about that before we know a set in stone reveal.
Yeah, the reveal probably going to be delayed at this point today. I'm really sorry. I think I'm not. I don't know. I mean, it's a very difficult situation. Like even giving an estimate because if Dave was able to upload code to GitHub, then Luke can at least try to take over that.
It's a blessing. Maybe more people are able to get in and mint before the actual reveal. So
yeah, but I feel like we're letting people down with it's out of our hands right now.
It's out of your hands. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. I understand. It would be more bothersome if it was like a quick flip for me, but like I said, I'm here for a long time, so I'm not rushing anything.
Just I will say, like, there's no issue with we have a few polished things we want to do in terms of GIFs or MP4s, etc. But like, what we can always do is just take out GIFs for now and do images and 3D models, and that's no problem. And then we can add GIF to link to the metadata, right? So or MP4. That's the problem with that is the reason why we're not flipping that switch is because once we, let's say, do just images in OpenSea, it'd be really weird for people to suddenly start seeing animations. Maybe most people would love that, but then some people would feel like we just change things up on them.
Yeah, I get that.
Because whatever's the one that's shown OpenSea, like we want to nail that, and we have to select the choice. And right now, the choice-based community voting is animated, and so And that's the only part that's giving us a little bit of an issue when we go to mass production, so to speak.
Gotcha. All right, Sasha. Well, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait for reveal. I will be posting Discord, and even if it's delayed, that's fine. I can't wait.
Chris. Appreciate you. Bye.
Until next time, Sasha. Peace out.